An employee of the advertising firm Dentsu jumped to her death in 2015. The cause was said to have been depression caused by overwork because she was reportedly forced to work more than 100 hours of overtime per month. The company's CEO
I don't think that Japan's future is going to be bright, having to need to rely on foreigners or robotics to keep Japan alive. Konnichiwa minasan, kyo desu. So in today's video, I'm going to be reacting to why do Japanese work so hard? I'm looking forward to reacting to this video. So without further ado, ikimashou.
Working long hours is a way of life in Japan, so much so that some occasionally die from it. Karoshi is a term that means death by overwork. So why are people working so hard and can it be fixed? Japan has some of the longest working hours in the world. Nearly a quarter of Japanese companies have their employees work more than 80 hours of overtime per month. Those extra hours are often unpaid. Today, Japan's corporate culture is driven by the so-called salaryman. The salaryman is defined by his loyalty to his company and expected to spend his entire career working for the same firm. Not only does he work long hours in the office, but it's also assumed he'll participate in after-work activities too, like drinking with colleagues. And they're not taking enough time off. In 2017, one survey found that despite being entitled to 20 days off per year, Japanese workers left 10 of those days unused, topping every other country in the survey. You don't have to be in the confines of corporate walls to feel the impact of its work culture. It's 3 a.m. Thursday morning right now in Tokyo. I'm in the area of Ginza. Every few minutes I see a man wearing a suit, holding a briefcase. The nation's work ethic dates back to what's referred to as Japan's economic miracle, which was its dramatic economic growth beginning in the 1950s, which propelled it to become the world's second largest economy. Inside Japan's corporations, the culture emphasizes the success of a company as a whole to be more important than any single individual, which might explain why one study found that 63% of Japanese felt guilty for taking paid leave. But perhaps more concerning is this. Long work hours don't necessarily mean high productivity. In fact, Japan has the lowest productivity amongst the G7 nations. Earlier I mentioned the term karoshi. It means death by overwork. It's legally recognized by the government and usually is marked by a heart attack, stroke, or suicide due to stress. There's hundreds of cases of karoshi reported annually, although some argue these cases are underreported and that the real number could exceed that by up to 10 times. An employee of the advertising firm Dentsu jumped to her death in 2015. The cause was said to have been depression caused by overwork. The case generated widespread attention and renewed calls to change the long working hours and illegal unpaid overtime highly common in Japan. The firm was fined for violating labor standards because she was reportedly forced to work more than 100 hours of overtime per month. The company's CEO even resigned over the controversy. After the death, Dentsu made some changes within the company. One of them, the lights in the office now turn off at 10 p.m. every night in an effort to force employees to leave. Both the government and companies are now actively trying to reduce the number of working hours here. And there are some early signs of hope. Japan's government has considered several initiatives to curb the number of hours spent at the office, including making it mandatory to take at least 5 vacation days a year and requiring a rest period between the end of one day and the start of another. In 2016, a new holiday, Mountain Day, was started, bringing Japan's number of annual public holidays to 16. And in 2017, the government launched an initiative called Premium Fridays, in which it encouraged companies to allow their employees to leave at 3 p.m. on the last Friday of the month, promoting consumer spending and less time in the office. But one study found that less than 4% of employees in Japan actually left early on the first Premium Friday, which is why, despite these initiatives, a cultural challenge still looms. Since Japan's culture emphasizes the group over the individual, well, no one wants to be the first one to leave the office. And there's another reason that there's pressure on people to work hard. Japan's economy is in danger, and in order to maintain its massive size, Japan needs to put in the hours. Japan lost its spot as the world's second largest economy to China in 2011, a title that it had previously held for 42 years. Japan is dealing with a labor crisis. Its population is aging fast, and its birth rate is in decline. That means its total population is going down. And in the next 50 years, it's projected to shrink by nearly a third. The population is expected to go from 127 million in 2015 to just 88 million by 2065. There's two likely ways that a nation can compensate for the labor shortage: immigrants or robots. Japan has always been less inclined to accept immigrants. In fact, its percentage of foreign workers is tiny compared to other nations of large economies. So without more immigrants, it's looking to robotics to fill in the gap. Its robotics industry has spanned from hospitality to manufacturing, and now even reaching farms by creating robots that milk cows. But whether technology could open the door for a better work-life balance for Japan's workforce still remains to be seen.
I do have some thoughts about this. One thing I love about this channel is that I get the opportunity to always talk about culture, because I think culture is extremely important. Something that I see that modern societies do, or probably most countries do, is that they try to fix cultural problems from the top down, meaning that the government is supposed to solve all the issues of the country. But it doesn't work like that. One thing that people need to understand, that politics and government is downstream from culture, meaning the culture of the people will affect the government, it will affect the politics. So really and truly, Japan needs a culture change. But like he said in the video, the government has been trying to put laws and regulations in place so people wouldn't overwork themselves to death. However, you see, because of how the type of culture Japan has, people don't even want to make the first move to even go home early, because the stigma is that if you take days off, or if you leave work early, you're lazy, or you're not really part of the mission of the company. And I've said this on many videos, including some immigration videos I made in the past, if you want to check that out, is that I believe that Japan has this problem because Japan does not have a culture that cultivates having family, raising kids, and being productive and not just busy. One thing, and I can say myself as someone who's been an entrepreneur for a few years now, is that working long hours doesn't mean that you're getting more done. It just means you're working longer. The best ideal situation to running a business is to do the most in the least amount of time. Basically, you want to maximize time, not drag it out, because a lot of people think that working long hours means that you're getting a lot more done, which doesn't work, because you can be busy doing a whole lot of nothing. And I believe that there needs to be some kind of movement, some kind of initiative by the people to want to change that kind of culture, because I'm a person, and any business is all about results. It's about what is the best effective methods to get the results that we want. Japan wants productivity. They want a booming economy. They want people to be successful. What is the type of lifestyle or methods needed to reach that goal? Obviously, working hard is not helping because of the suicide and people getting stressed out and dying from work. So I believe if Japan truly wants to be successful, Japan needs to change a lot of her cultural values that she believes, or what is seen as being a good worker or being a bad worker. I think there needs to be a revision of how you see work life, because if not, I don't think that Japan's future is going to be bright, having to need to rely on foreigners or robotics to keep Japan alive. I think if Japan cultivates her culture in a way that prevents overworking and the cultivating of families, I believe Japan can and will be saved. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Also, on my second channel, I actually talked about the recent Texas shooting in America. So if you guys want to know my thoughts about that situation, the video will be here on my left-hand side. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please smash the like button, smash the subscribe button. Also hit that bell as well to get notified whenever we post a video. 本当ありがとうございます。みんな気をつけて。じゃあね。